All right. And this is the second episode of T York Politics. My name is Brian Allen. I use he, him, they, them pronouns. I'm an educational equity and inclusion consultant and a doctoral candidate at Teachers College, Columbia University.
And I am Daquan Chung. I was the digital manager for Maya Wiley's 2021 mayoral campaign, and I was the digital manager for the city council and the speaker of the city council, Adrienne Adams, who is now running for mayor. Last episode, I was not feeling well, and I said that I worked on Maya Wiley's 2001 mayoral campaign. Maya Wiley did not run for mayor in 2001. And also in 2001, I was only 1 year old because I was born in 2000.
You really messed that up. I think we both were kind of off last episode. I was nervous. This was my first time filming. I said a bunch of bullshit. So
you're not gonna call me out that I just said I was born in 2000 and that I was 1 year old.
You kind of are built like it.
That's fair. That's fair. Also, not only am I built like it, but the skin and the face and the body give youthful. Yeah, so happy Pride.
You see my Lonnie Love face? Happy Pride. How are you celebrating this month? If celebrating, doing any like demonstrations, actions, that kind of stuff?
My Pride plans are to stay alive.
Amen.
And avoid any malicious gay faggotry.
Nicole Brooks.
Yes, shout out to Nicole Page
Brooks. Not
Brooks.
Here for the gay malicious faggotry.
Shout out to Nicole Page Brooks right now on RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars Season 10. Are you watching?
Yeah.
Did you see the new episode?
Yeah, I did.
I didn't watch it yet. I'm going to watch
Mistress is a nasty bitch.
Honestly,
that's all I'm going to say. She did them dirty. Justice for Carrie Colby, because she actually carried in this last episode.
For TV purposes, I enjoy nasty bitches.
It's just like, I don't think it's just TV. Being very honest.
I want to be entertained. And so, like, my thing with Drag Race is, like, entertain me. Like, that's what you're there for. Like, I want to be entertained.
I get that. So how does your desire for entertainment carry over into politics, if at all? Since we're here to spill the tea about New York politics.
It doesn't.
No.
No. I don't want to be entertained in politics. I want things to run and function and people to do their jobs the way they're supposed to. And I don't support any malicious gay faggotry in politics at all.
Which includes the politics of Pride or celebrating Pride, correct?
Yeah. Do you have Pride plans?
Oh, excuse me, the champagne. So for Pride, I'm actually going to be in Berlin, Germany, doing a youth empowerment workshop for ballroom. I am a ballroom participant, kind of in and out of the Kiki scene, more so in the mainstream scene, but taking a brief hiatus. So yeah, I'm around, but shout out to the House of Saint Laurent. So yeah, I'm going to be doing this workshop, runway workshop, supporting the youth, talking to them about identity, talent, honing their craft, all of that good stuff. In the past, I have done a combination of both celebrating Pride. My first time going to any Pride was in New York City when I first moved here, and I came out maybe like 6 months prior, and I got to walk in the parade. It was a huge thing. It was super lit.
Wait, you're gay?
No. I came out as an ally.
Very much that.
So it was a really lit moment. In other previous iterations of my Pride experiences, I've done a lot of like trans celebration. So inviting some of my sisters, homegirls, the dolls over and just really loving on them and celebrating them in those ways. So like it really depends on the year and what's going on in the ways that I spend Pride.
Yeah, we love the dolls.
Love the girls.
Yes.
Shout out to the girls. Shout out to Octavia. Shout out to Marsha P. Johnson. Shout out to Nakia Zulu. Like, shout out to all the girls.
Yes, very much so. Shout out to Nakia. I'm excited for Pride. I think what's interesting is going on right now is I'm seeing online a lot that it's like Pride corporations are sort of backing out of their support for Pride, which I don't know. I feel like two ways sort of about it in a sense where I feel bad for the queer performers, like drag queens, etc.,
Yeah.
who make their money during Pride. Like some of those performers, like they need their Pride gigs to survive.
Yeah.
And then in the other sense, I do feel like Pride has become a little bit too commercialized.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we know that the first Pride was actually a riot.
But I think the one thing that sort of worries me about corporations stepping back from their support of Pride is that America definitely is an oligarchy. And so the rich people, the corporations, they're the ones who control our politics and what goes on in our country. And so I think them stepping back is definitely like they're sending a sign, like this is their warning to the queer community. And so I think queer people, like, y'all need to listen up because they're telling us sort of like they're saying where they're putting their foot down at. But I just want to remind the corporations, like, Pride started as a riot, like a black trans woman throwing bricks through somebody's window. Either you're with us or we throwing bricks through your shit.
Let me get my bricks.
Fuck around and find out.
It's really wild. And on one hand, like, I'm concerned at how quickly and easily these corporations and politicians also are like rolling back their support for Pride and the LGBTQ community. But it also is kind of a sense of relief and like, we know where you stand. Like, you've just clearly like demarcated yourself in terms of like who you support, what you stand for, what your politics are, and where you're going to advocate and put your money behind. So like, it is concerning, but it's also like kind of a sigh of relief. And like, we don't really have to worry about, because for so long we talked about the commercialization and appropriation of Pride and really thinking about how businesses have been co-opting this riot founded or just kind of like oriented movement. And it's like they're doing it for the dollar. So like, if we remove that from the equation, we really understand who's in it for us and like how we can actually revert Pride from being so like, don't judge me, but like over sexualized, like hypersexualized, like very like alcohol, drug oriented to like back to its foundations. But I'm totally here for the shits. Like,
Yeah. No, I love Pride as a protest.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of people who like look down or shame upon like the sexualized sort of nature of Pride.
Yeah.
But I also want to remind people like that gay sex actually used to be criminalized.
Like,
so,
gay sex is political.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. So it's like, I'm with, when it comes to Pride, I do understand there's like a respectability aspect to it. Like if you're at a parade and there's little kids and there's families, I think people should, take that into account. But
we need to figure out family friendly zones for Pride. Like, between these blocks, hide your kids, hide your wives.
I think that's fair. But I think until that happens, like people should just, be a little bit mindful of sort of who all is coming to, being in what spaces. But no, I'm excited for Pride. I hope everyone has a happy, safe Pride and that no one is doing any malicious gay faggotry.
Like y'all were doing in DC.
And Atlanta. Brian's mom is in town. How's that going?
Oh yeah, so my mom is here, like I mentioned. So I'm going to Berlin towards the end of the month. But I'm taking my mom to a few countries in Europe prior to me going over there. So she is here for a couple of days before we take off. We have a brief, like, short itinerary here, mostly like restaurants and like sightseeing and stuff, but it's cool. Laura's my girl. Like, she's a good time. She loves to banter. She's a key. Like, we were up last night just like keying. So
it's so crazy. I feel like I've known you for like at least 6 or 7 years, and I've never known your mother's name until recently. That's like so wild to me.
I as a Taurus, I tend to compartmentalize very well. So
do you know my mother's name?
Deborah.
Yes.
Is it really?
Yeah, Deborah.
Oh wow.
I've-
I really pulled that out of the.
No. I think all my friends know my mother's name because I call my mom by her first name. I
Okay.
don't call my mom mother.
Or Ma. Or
Yeah,
anything.
which is very like not black to do. But I originally started doing that. I originally stared doing that to annoy my mother.
by calling her first name.
Yeah, like when she would be like getting on my nerves, I would do that to like annoy her back. And then she like at first she was like, excuse me, who do you think you're talking to? But then like I would just do it so much, like she would just let it slide, and then she just became like Deborah. In my phone, she's Deborah.
Oh wow.
Like not even mom, not even mother. But speaking of my mom, she watched our first episode.
And how did she react?
She liked it.
Yeah.
Her one thing, she was like, Brian Allen. She was like, who is that? I don't know that man.
I got to meet Deborah. It's time.
So I thought it would be fun if we played a little game so that my mom and our listeners could get to know us a little bit better.
Okay, work.
And so we're gonna play Smash or Pass Political Edition.
Smash or pass for
Yeah.
your mom.
This is the game that I chose for our listeners to get to know us better.
All right, work. We're bearing it all today. Cool.
And so basically, I'm gonna say the name of a politician, and you just tell me whether you smash or pass.
All right, cool.
You answer first, and then I'll answer behind you.
Okay, cool.
Okay, up first is Eric Adams.
It's a pass. It's a pass for me, dog. How about for you?
I'm I'm gonna smash.
Okay, so I don't know. He just kind of looks like a Ninja Turtle to me.
I'm gonna smash because, and it's not politics aside, Eric Adams has BDE energy. And so I think either is
Boo.
big or he's overcompensating because he got a little dick. But either way, I want to find out.
You want to find out?
I want to
I
see
just
what's
think
going
he's
on.
a horrible human being.
Oh, 100%.
Which most New York niggas are.
Literally, like.
Yeah. Okay, I take that back for our New York City nigga viewers. But yeah, I don't know. It's still a pass for me.
Okay. Andrew Cuomo.
Hard pass.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass. I don't even need to explain.
Hard
Like-
pass.
Serial sexual harasser. It's a no for me. Do you know this one? Anthony Delgado. He's the lieutenant governor.
Anthony or Antonio?
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Antonio Delgado. He's the lieutenant governor of New York.
I'm a smash.
I'm also gonna smash.
I'm a smash.
The next one is Zelnor Myrie. He is a New York State senator, and he is currently running for mayor. Brian gotta look some of these up because he don't know all these people.
Yeah, y'all. Like when it comes to T York politics and also our viewers, like this is really to build a conversation around political awareness, around political literacy. And so as knowledgeable as I am about like DEI and stuff like that, I'm still learning political figures and people like that. And Zelnor, I'm sorry, but it's a pass. Woo.
Zelnor is also gonna be a pass for me. The next person is this is the first Gen Z city council member. I believe he was 24 when he was elected.
Mhm.
That was maybe 3 years ago, so he's a bit older now. Chi Osei. Do you know Chi? He's like a pretty decent like social media presence.
Oh, cool. No, I haven't seen Chi. Gen Z, how old is he?
I think he might be like 26, 27 now.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
Yeah, that was a very valid question.
You said Gen Z. I said
Yeah, but he was like 24 when he was elected.
trying
That was like 3.5
not
years
to
ago.
do that. She could smash. I could smash you. We could smash each other.
Yeah, she is handsome. I'm also gonna smash.
You're gonna smash?
Yeah, I'm gonna smash. The next one is my girl. I have a very soft spot in my heart for her. Vice President Kamala Harris.
So what you're gonna do is you're gonna get some butter, you're gonna get some thyme, some salt, coarse ground pepper. You're gonna get under the skin. Kamala could get under the skin.
Do you think that you just fell out of a coconut tree?
I don't even want to talk about Kamala in these ways. Like, it just feels, that's my girl. I had my reservations politically about her in her election, but she really won me over, not only with her charisma, her uniqueness, her nerve, and her talent, but the ways in which she like clearly demarcated how different she was from the current administration that we unfortunately
Are now being suffering
harassed
under.
by, literally accosted by. So yeah, that's my girl. I'll smash and yeah.
You're smashing? But not sexually. Respectfully. I'm passing out of respect. Like, I respect her, so I'm not gonna smash. But if it was like 2013 Attorney General Kamala Harris,
with
just when she was like, she's 60 now, so she looks fantastic.
yeah.
But when she was like 2013 Kamala, that was like, she still could have been like a video vixen as the Attorney General. Like, Kamala is so beautiful and stunning.
She was outside.
Yeah. Attorney General Kamala, I'm gonna smash. Respectfully.
It's the respectfully for me.
The next person is Donald Trump. Okay,
All right.
moving on.
Fuck that nigga.
The
Like,
next person is Zoran Mamdani. Did I say, I'm saying the last name right?
Mamdani.
Mamdani.
Because the last episode you were saying Mama
Mamdani. Zoran is a New York State Assembly member and he is running for mayor. Smash or pass?
How about you? You go first.
I don't know. I think I'm gonna pass.
Okay. What's his ethnic background?
He was born, I believe, in Uganda. But he is also, I believe, like Arab Muslim.
I'm a smash. Yo, Zoran. Yeah. Love that.
Okay. Next is Joe Biden.
Is he the forerunner for
the mayoral?
Yeah.
No, right now the election is between him and, unfortunately, for the Democratic, Andrew Cuomo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next is our former president, Joe Biden.
Pass. I'm sorry. Hard pass.
I'm gonna smash.
Huh.
I like he's been the president. I have a power.
Stand up.
Sort of thing. And also, have you seen Young Joe?
Yeah, I did.
Young Joe was kind of like giving. Also, Joe is a Scorpio. I'm also a Scorpio, and I like Scorpio on Scorpio is that energy that I like. So I'm gonna smash. This person I put in, the next one I put in for you. Excuse me, I had a belch. Is it's gonna be a belchy episode.
It's a burpee day.
The next person is a DC council member, Robert C. White Jr.
Robert C. White?
Yeah. This is the guy that you asked me to put into the thing.
Don't tell them that. And I know, but I just want to see him again.
I'm like, why are you Googling him? I was like, you know who it is.
Fine. Smash.
Yeah, I'm also gonna smash.
That's great.
Yeah.
And I love a father. Like
He got what, 3 kids?
2, I believe. Wait, maybe 3. I don't know. Who
Yeah.
cares? But
We don't care.
but yeah, great man, great guy.
Yeah, he seems, I mean, I really don't know his politics, but aesthetic wise, smash.
Love to see him around.
Next is our former president, America's first black president, Barack Obama.
You want to talk about BDE? That's the guy. That's the guy right there.
Smash or pass?
I'm a smash.
I'm also gonna smash. Respectfully to Michelle.
Respectfully. Hey, I don't know what y'all got going on.
I don't care. That's none of my business.
This is all hypothetical.
Yeah,
Michelle,
100%. Okay, the last person we're wrapping this game up.
Good. Oh my God.
It's been very blasphemous.
Woo.
Is Governor of Maryland, Wes Moore. Do you know Wes?
Not at all.
Google. While you Google, I'll go. Wes is a smash.
Westmore, governor of Maryland.
Yep. Really?
It's a pass.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Wes is on like of people's politicians. He's like on their like high up on their list. Like I feel like a lot of the gays like lust after Wes.
Really?
Yes.
The gays.
They sometimes do be lusting after anybody.
Girl. I don't know. It's a pass for me. Beautiful gowns. Sorry to this man.
No, beautiful gowns.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that has been what may possibly go down as one of our most blasphemous segments.
May not ever do that.
We may never do that again. In fact, if this was on TV, we might get canceled. But that was Smash or Pass Political Edition.
Amen.
Now we're going to move on to a segment that Brian and our executive producer, Henry Love, both don't really care for, but I love it. So we're going to keep doing it.
We're going to let her rock, y'all.
This is a ASMR politician shit talk. Andrew Cuomo, you are a serial sexual harasser. You are running on a platform of keeping all New Yorkers safe. But if you are elected mayor, who is going to keep female staffers in your administration safe from you? I have never seen someone run for mayor on a platform of fixing problems that they cause as governor. Do you think that New Yorkers are that fucking stupid? Maybe we wouldn't have a housing crisis in New York City if you did something about it when you were governor for 10 fucking years.
Oh, you're not done.
You held a press conference to have your daughter complain about how hard it is to find affordable housing in New York City. Maybe she wouldn't have to look for housing if you didn't kick her out of the $8,000 a month apartment she was living in so you could move into it to pretend like you live in New York City so you could run for mayor. Old people seem to like you. Maybe you could have gotten a larger share of the older vote if your COVID policies didn't lead to so many of their deaths. Now that you want to be mayor for your ego, you want to try to raise the minimum wage. But when NYC tried to raise the minimum wage in 2014, you blocked it as governor. You don't care about this city, and I hope New Yorkers don't vote for you on June 24th. Sexual harassers deserve 0 votes. You bitch.
Well, the girls are endorsing him left and right, so I don't really know. It's getting kind of shaky out here.
And the girls need to go to prison. Everyone endorsing Andrew Cuomo needs to go to jail.
This girl also needs to go to prison, but like Kaya said, electric chair.
Which girl?
Kaya.
Oh. I was like, who are you talking about? I was like, who are you talking about needs to go to jail? Yeah, Andrew, I just said what I had to say in ASMR, but I don't like that man. I think he's a disgusting human being. I can't even believe that there are a lot of black officials, which I'm very disappointed in. There are a lot of other officials, high NYC electeds that are endorsing him to be mayor. This man has 12 to 13 credible sexual harassment allegations against him, on top of the fact that he was a really, really bad governor.
Yeah.
A lot of old people, like I said, died due to his COVID policies. And I just,
And he tried to cover it up.
yeah, because of his $5 million book deal. And I don't fucking get it. I don't understand it. It's really upsetting and really, really baffling to me.
We got to stop the government corruption. I think that's what's so upsetting in these days is how often, were you burping too?
No, I was clearing my throat. The ASMR is really rough on your, it's like my throat is so scratchy.
That's because you're doing ASMR wrong.
How am I supposed to do it?
You're supposed to whisper like this.
Was I not whispering?
You were going like this.
I need ASMR lessons, Ed.
I'm going to give you some ASMR training.
You should have did that before I did this.
I just want to let you rock. So, next time. But yeah, it's the government corruption for me. And I think just like in the ways like Andrew Cuomo with his book deal, Donald Trump and all of his litter with these business deals overseas, like it's just getting very like blended lines that I'm just not understanding how it's legal. I remember seeing a TikTok.
It's not legal. That's the thing with Donald Trump.
I know it's illegal. But why isn't anyone saying about it? I saw a government employee, they worked in a state park, and they were saying how like when people visit the state park, they're not even able to do as little as make like restaurant recommendations in the area because they're not able to endorse businesses as a government federal employee. So when it comes to Trump and his partnerships are former, since the girls are fighting, with Elon Musk, with these resorts and things that are popping up in Dubai, with receiving gifts from Qatar, and like all of these, like with Cuomo and his book deals, like it's just all giving like old school New York politics that I thought that we had gone away with for quite some time.
Yeah, for the rich people is very much laws and rules for y'all,
Yes.
but not for me.
Yes.
Which is, I mean, with Donald Trump, we knew what we were getting. People that want to act surprised, I'm not surprised. It's the same shit from the first term, but worse. Now he has no guardrails on him because the Supreme Court basically deemed him king. So he's doing whatever he wants to do. I'm not surprised anything about Donald Trump. I think the thing with Andrew Cuomo is that he's had a really great PR comms team as the governor.
Yeah.
And he's also, his father, Mario, was also governor. And he was a very popular governor. And I think also with a lot of black voters, like older black voters, think of Mario very fondly. So they give that grace to Andrew.
Yeah.
But Andrew was a very, very bad governor.
It's giving nepotism.
Oh, very much
Like
so.
the worst
Nepotism.
kinds.
Yeah. But he's definitely benefited from sort of the fondness that
legacy.
the fondness that New Yorkers have of his father.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's jump into hot topics, sort of like what's going on in New York City politics.
All right.
So the Rent Guidelines Board recently had voted to raise rent on
Boo! Yo, what the fuck?
on New Yorkers who live in rent stabilized apartments. Do you live in a rent stabilized apartment?
I won the housing lottery, so that's
I think so. Yeah,
right?
rent stabilized. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also live in a rent stabilized apartment. So they had voted to raised the rent on
raised it last year.
2-year rent increases. So our rent's going up, bitch. And so they have voted.
I hate it here.
I hate it here. I want to go home.
I want to go home. I don't know where home is. How? Why?
Why I don't know, but so they held a preliminary vote on an increase, and then basically, because this is an election year and Eric Adams is running for re-election,
He's trying to get.
he asked them to go back, and this rarely ever happens, to go back and hold a revote. So they went back to revote on a lower rent raise percentage. So they're still raising the rents, but they're going to do it at a lower rate. And I think this also happened because right now in the mayor's race, one of the top candidates, Zoran Mandami, he I got it right.
Hey,
he is one of his big
my man.
One of his big campaign things is that he is saying that he'll, when he's mayor, because the mayor does control the Rent Guidelines Board, that he will have the Rent Guidelines Board freeze rent for New Yorkers who live in rent stabilized apartments. And so this has sort of is becoming a bigger issue in the election, especially because that's a policy that he's sort of running on that's really taken hold. Because I mean, we live here, we know like the rent is outrageous and kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. And it also follows like this trend of him just like doing stuff to gain popular opinion or votes, as opposed to like actually caring about New York citizens.
Who, Zoran or Eric?
Eric.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, not Zoran. I don't know. There are just so many empty apartment buildings in New York City that landowners or landlords are just like pocketing money off of, or trying to save money off of by not like putting folks in them. I think it's very reasonable for every New York resident, maybe not every, but figuring out a process to put most people into an apartment somewhere in the city.
Yeah, I definitely think, I mean,
at lower reduced costs, like without raising it.
Yeah, housing is definitely probably the number one issue, I feel like, for a lot of New Yorkers in this mayoral election. And sort of housing, the Rent Guidelines Board and the rent thing has sort of become sort of like the center focal issue. And very much like rightfully so, like this is the most expensive city to live in on earth. Like the rent is ridiculous. You know, working class New Yorkers, especially like Black New Yorkers, are having to leave and flee living in New York and in the city in general because they can't afford to live here.
Folks are going to the South. Folks are going to other areas in New York. Like,
yeah, so something definitely like has to be done. But yeah, the Rent Guidelines Board is raising our rent.
Well, hopefully this vote changes.
No, the vote's not changing. They just re-voted to change the percentage increase.
Oh, so it's just the percentage.
Yeah.
From
because originally they voted and it was higher, and then Eric sent them back to revote
on the percentage.
To lower the percentage, because he wants to pretend like he cares about working class New Yorkers who live in rent stabilized apartments, but we know he don't give a fuck about us.
You know what this sounds like? Gay malicious faggotry. To the T.
Okay. This is the endorsement everybody has been waiting for. AOC has made her mayoral endorsement, and she has endorsed Zoran Mandami, I'm struggling with his name, as her number one candidate.
Let's go.
This is AOC's endorsement is really big. I worked on the Maya Wiley campaign in 2021, and before AOC's endorsement, Maya was polling in like 5th.
Okay.
And then after the endorsement, Maya shot up to 2nd place in polling.
Oh, wow.
And so this endorsement, which everyone has been waiting for, there's been a lot of...
It came kind of late, too. Like, there's like 4 or 5 weeks before.
Well, there's been a lot of talk about the timing of this on Twitter and stuff. But she endorsed literally the same day that she endorsed Maya Wiley last year. The last election. And so I think this is just the timing that maybe she feels is right. Also, a lot of New Yorkers hate politics. They're not paying attention. And so now people are tuning into the race. There's
it's
like
getting
2 weeks
closer.
left.
Yeah.
It's like less than, I think we're 20, 19, 18 days out.
Yeah.
So people are tuning in now. And so this is, I think she does the right thing. I think this is the right time to do it because, you know, voters are now tuning in. And then the rest of AOCs, because this is a ranked choice election, so you can rank up to 5 candidates. And so her number 2 is my former boss, Speaker of the City Council, Adrienne Adams. Her number 3 was Brad Lander, the city comptroller.
Mm-hmm.
Her 4 was the former city comptroller who ran for mayor also in 2021, Scott Stringer. And then her 5 was your pass, Zelnor Myrie.
Wow.
But there you go. You have it, guys. AOC's endorsement is out.
I think that's a good thing. I mean, the timing is neither here nor there. I think it's a good thing because I think she's been under a lot of fire and a lot of pressure lately, just like in terms of her political presence and folks like questioning like where has she like stood on a lot of issues and where has she been like vocal and active, and like we get like the bites and things of her like saying snide comments here and there, like more recently like the girls are fighting, which I love. But I think like an endorsement is like you stepping from behind the curtain and like kind of putting your vote where it matters. But I would love to see her a little bit more as being like a very popular
well,
figure in the past.
She's a congresswoman and she has a specific district in New York. So you probably don't see her because that's not your congressperson. But she is one of the high profile congress people. I do think people think of her as like one of the faces of the Democratic Party. I feel like that's more what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I feel like the people in her district probably see her. But you're just saying you want to see her more. Do you like AOC?
I did in the past. I haven't seen her. So like, yeah.
Yeah. Do you like her? I mean, from what you know of her politics, or like, do you like her politics?
Yeah,
or
like she seems very like here for like working class folks, like for students, for folks that like don't come from like wealthy families, things like that. So definitely down for her and her politics. I think my biggest issue, and y'all are gonna hear me press on this often in this, is just like, what are politicians actually doing? Like saying something is one thing, endorsing something is another thing, and actually like doing, which we know like political like red tape and things is a whole different conversation, but just like what are we actually seeing y'all do, vocalize to create change and make like tangible results for the communities that y'all represent and serve? So I think that's like where my kind of not question, but just kind of like, yeah, maybe it is a question. Question comes from for her.
Well, I have no answers to your question right now.
Aren't you the mayor?
If I was the mayor, we probably still would be in the mess that we in. But I probably would be a little bit better than Eric is. Okay, moving on. Convicted registered sex offender, Anthony Weiner is running for city council District 2. Do you remember Anthony Weiner?
Yeah, and the name just like it's so ironic.
So basically, Anthony Weiner, he's actually a former council member. He was a congressperson. He ran for mayor twice, and then he had his sex scandal where he was sending explicit photos of minors, which he went to prison for and served time. He came out. He did some, I guess, charity organization work. He recently...
Not restorative justice.
He recently he went on The View talking about his run for city council.
Okay.
And he was saying that he served his time in prison and that he's reformed now from his pedophile ways. and that he feels like people deserve a second chance. I think absolutely the fuck not. I don't care if you saved 500 dogs, orphan dogs, if you cured cancer, if you are a registered sex offender.
I was going to say he did his time.
I don't care if he served his time. If you are a registered sex offender, you have no business holding public office. Absolutely none.
No, yeah.
Also, what are the people in City Hall going to do? Anytime there are children that need to come to City Hall, there are kids who sit in on council sessions. What are they going to have to work around him being in the city, in the city council chambers as a registered sex offender? Like, you literally cannot be around children.
He's on the list.
Yeah, it's just going to be a logistical nightmare for City Hall to have to like work around him at having a registered sex offender council member. Just like get somebody else to do it. There are 8 million plus people in the city. I understand.
Somebody can do it.
Yeah, somebody else got to be the city council member. Like, you're a registered sex offender. Like, this is fucking ridiculous. And I blame y'all, and I blame Donald Trump a little bit on, not a little bit. I blame Donald Trump on this because y'all literally have a rapist as the president of the United States, and now all these pedophiles, sexual offenders. You have Andrew Cuomo, who's a serial sexual harasser running for mayor. All these sexual predators now thinking that they could come and hold public office. Like, this is fucking disgusting. And it's like,
he looks like a pedophile.
City Council District 2, I swear to fucking God, if y'all fucking elect this man, like, y'all
Where
deserve
is he in
better.
the standing? Where is he in the standing?
I don't know. They don't really poll City Council district races.
No.
Yeah, because the districts are like, they don't do big polling on it.
Okay.
But I hope he's in last place. Like, I think people are going to vote for him because, you know, he has the name recognition, but this is crazy.
He looks crazy.
Are you Google what he looked like?
Yes. I'd be trying to stay hip. Like, I need, yeah.
Okay, so the city council recently passed a law to expand. They're going to double the number of public restrooms by 2035.
Are you a public restroom user?
I'm not, because I honestly don't even know if I've ever seen a public restroom. Like, I live in Harlem, so like, you know, Upper Manhattan, but I don't think I ever seen, growing up in Queens, like, there's public restrooms in the park. Like, the area that I lived in, like, Brookville Park is our park. Yeah. And so there were public restrooms there, but I feel like in Manhattan, like, I don't feel like I've ever seen a public restroom in Manhattan. And so,
not unless it is like the parks.
Yeah. I don't know. There have been multiple times that I almost pissed or shit on myself because I couldn't find a public bathroom. And I feel like businesses don't want people, like, if you're not a patron of their business, to like use their bathrooms. So I think this is a good law. Like, we need public bathrooms.
I was downtown, speaking of only patrons using restrooms, and this woman at the bar of an establishment I will not name downtown, I ran in, I had like my bags, I was doing some shopping. I was like, hey, like, the store right here doesn't have a restroom that I can use. Can I just run in? And you know how like somebody like sits and thinks about something for a second? And the fact that she sat and thought about it was the reason why I got so pissed off. Because I'm like, if you had to think about it, instead of just saying, no, our policy is you cannot use our restroom, it's only for patrons or guests. I don't know. That just really sent me off the edge.
Was she white?
A white Latina.
How do you know she was a white Latina?
I just do. I'm speculating. But yeah.
I don't like the fact that she had to think about it.
If you had to think about it, that means that you could have said yes.
Yeah, you should have just pissed on the floor.
You know what? Let's go downtown after this. Let's go. But I do think that this is a good policy. I'm thinking about like families and also tourists. Like I can only imagine how this is going to positively affect like revenue from tourism with folks like being able to like use the restroom publicly, not publicly, but um being able to use public restrooms. But also it kind of makes me think I'm on this thing around like so a lot of the work I'm doing with my dissertation in Columbia is around like interest convergence. Like how does policy or how is policy informed by like the majority or the dominant class benefiting from things that also in a minor or minuscule way benefit the minority. And this makes me think about kind of jumping and weaving through thoughts here, but you remember when the Republican convention they shut down Grinder because it was so many of them
Yeah.
on Grinder.
Grinder crashed.
Grinder crashed
because all the Republicans at the convention were on it. Yeah.
This just really makes me think that they want more public restrooms so that they can go cruising.
So you think that the city council passed this bill to expand public bathrooms so that white conservative men could have more places to cruise?
Absolutely.
I think that's stupid. First of all, the city council is majority Democratic, so they're not passing laws for Republicans.
They want more public restrooms for that reason.
No, we need public bathrooms so that people don't piss and shit on themselves when they're in the street.
Obviously, but like, hey.
Also, I think about pregnant women. I feel like pregnant women have to pee a lot.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and they need the bathrooms. Yeah, that's hot topics. We're moving now into a segment that we call dumbest thing I've seen on the internet. You want to go first?
Yeah, so recently, and y'all are gonna see a trend in my dumbest things because they're gonna tend to be higher ed focused. But basically Harvard was or is being sued for ideological capture, whatever that means. So initially, I think in last week's episode, I was talking about Harvard being restricted from enrolling international students from enrolling at Harvard University. And so this week, Columbia University is now under attack by the federal government and the Department of Education, basically saying that they are going to be stripped of their accreditation. Accreditation is just like a means of establishing like standards and norms for like what quality education looks like and means at various levels within the education system. Which is very interesting. One, it's dumb as fuck because Columbia was one of the institutions that actually like adhered to Trump's like beck and call for dismantling DEI, racial quote, like all of these different things that he's been expecting for universities to adhere to. Like Columbia was one of the first to be like, yes, massa, which is so unfortunate. And so I think that just only proves that like when you don't stand for something, like you only become even more susceptible to the constraints that they set upon you. So we'll see how this progresses. I don't even know. I don't think there are many Ivy League institutions that follow like the accreditation process. But we'll see what this means for my university, unfortunately.
Also, Brian and I have this inside joke where almost the majority time that I've known Brian, which is like 6 or 7 years, he's been working on this PhD at Columbia. And then anytime he mentions, like, he'll randomly mention, like, he's doing something for school or his dissertation, I'm like, you're still in school?
Still, bitch.
Because it's been that long. And it's so crazy to me, like, now you might finally get this degree and it's going to be from an uncredited university.
That's some shit. It's just really wild.
I don't mean to laugh because it actually is fucked up. But to think that you spent all that time trying to get your PhD
All my life I had to fight.
and you finally get it, and the paper might not even be worth anything. I don't mean to laugh.
You bitch. What is this? Gay,
Malicious faggotry. Okay, my dumbest thing I seen on the internet, I changed it. I had a different one. It was originally about to be about something that Republican council member Vicky Palladino has said. I don't think we have time to get into it. I have a lot of thoughts on a lot of the things that she tweets about. But I changed mine. This just happened this morning. Jessica Ramos, who is running for mayor, she's a state senator.
Mm-hmm.
She's a part of the Working Family Party's Rank the Slate. And so their Rank the Slate is they want people to rank their 5 candidates, and they are the anti-do not rank Andrew Cuomo slate.
Okay.
And so the idea is that their candidates are also running and in support of not ranking Andrew Cuomo. And so this morning it was just announced that Jessica Ramos is going to co-endorse Andrew Cuomo for mayor. There have been conversations, and she's also mentioned that she felt some type of way about the left side of the party, how they weren't supporting her in her mayoral race. She's recently started attacking Zoran. She made some statements about...
What did she say?
She made some statements sort of about how she thought about running for mayor the last time, but she didn't think she was qualified enough because the mayoralship is a big management job.
Right.
And so she's kind of saying that Zoran doesn't have the management qualifications. And then she made sort of a statement that if she knew that all you just had to do was have fancy videos online to become mayor, then she would have run. And it's very much so giving jealousy. I feel like her ego has taken a bit of a hit because she feels like the people on the left side of the party didn't support her in the way she wanted to be supported.
Right.
But this is really upsetting to me. Also, just because her entire mayoral run has been attacking Andrew Cuomo, talking about how he's been a sexual predator, talking about his COVID policies that led to deaths of so many New Yorkers, talking about how terrible of a governor he is. And for her, just because your ego gets hurt,
now
you're upset about how you feel like people didn't support you, or it is giving a bit jealousy of Zoran, and it's just like, you're gonna throw all of the communities that you say that you care about under the bus because your ego is hurt. Like, it's really giving vile gutter snipe. And this is also part of the reason why I sort of left working in politics, because it's not just the politicians, it's also like the high up campaign staffers, but it's a lot of people's egos.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's people doing like moving policy, doing things all because of their egos. They don't care about making people's lives better or working class people. And it's like, when you get into the political system, like for me, it was well-intentioned. Like, I got into politics. I wanted to try to elect more progressive leaning Black women to office.
Right.
Then I worked for the first Black woman speaker of the city council. And so when you get into the system, it's like you go in there thinking you can make things better, but you're dealing with, and it's not just the politicians, it's also the high up staffers. It's just like people's egos that you're dealing with. Like, this really, really upsets me that she did this. Because you're just throwing all these communities that you say that you care about. Also, this entire time you've been running for mayor, you're saying, these are my morals, these are my values. Andrew Cuomo is against who we are as a city. And you turn around and you endorse him. You co-endorse him to be, yeah, exactly. You co-endorse him to be mayor. Like, this absolutely fucking disgusting to me. I actually kind of like Jessica, and this is just like vile gutter snipe BS to me. It really hurts me that she did this, because I get the ego part of it, but I feel like she was better than this, so this kind of upsets me.
Boo.
Yeah, she does. She deserves. We need to add in
Donkey. She deserves donkey of the day.
and lots of booing.
And lots of boom.
Boo, bitch. Yeah, that was my dumbest thing I seen on the internet.
Some dumbass shit.
Yeah, so always, lots of stuff going on in New York City politics. Also, don't forget we have a mayor's election on June 24th. That's the primary. Everybody, please get out and vote. But that's what we have for this episode.
See you all next time.
Thanks, everyone.